artists working with social groups. I mean, it's not really recent in the sense it's been going on a while, and it's been also going on internationally everywhere, I guess. Kind of on this forefront of community art meeting high art, something like that. And but in the Netherlands it was picked up quite a lot. What could be specific for the Netherlands is that it was very much picked up by policymakers as a way to kind of incorporate art in social policies, so in policies for welfare, for community art, for things like that. And I saw sometimes at SCORE that policies were made in such a way that art was kind of, and also art budget was kind of incorporated in social budgets. And I think that's kind of a strange development. And recently this is very much the topic of critique in the Netherlands. So we have this, for instance, this group, two philosophers, BAVO, they wrote a very polemical publication, Too Active to Act, in which they kind of describe all these artists doing all these socially engaged works and critiquing them for becoming part of the system and losing their artistic strength almost, because they are becoming like collaborators of social policies. And they see it as more important as an artist to remain in an autonomous position in order to be able to really reflect and also criticize these things. Maybe it's good to understand it in the course of the whole program of the Leidse Rijn project, where it started very much as artists were involved in thinking about what does it mean to make a large new settlement like that, what are people's motivations, what are planning concepts and things like that. And in that whole process the art was quite invisible, and during those I think 8 or 10 years of the whole project, the art became increasingly more visible. So also there were these, first there were these action research projects, then there were these exhibitions, temporary. And then I think the Sculpture Park project is kind of it's almost maybe a pun as well, that at the end of all this involved sculptures, we're interacting artists with people and with social groups there and with the architecture, this and that. At the end we come to this almost again autonomous or indeed very sculptural, very classical idea. The park itself is, I think, only one or maybe one of 2 green areas that were planned in that area, and the sculptures they are of course for the people who live around it and who will be going to the park, but they are also to be understood as a set together, like as a very strong connected to the park, but also to this idea of the concept of the possibility of an island, which was taken from Michel Houellebecq's book. So the story that they tell together is something that is like added to the park, and it is, I think, also because they are more permanent, and people who live around there will not maybe understand them on the first walk they go there, but through time and through seeing another one and another one and another one, and maybe starting to make connections and things like that. So they also have the opportunity, these sculptures, to have much more of a layered and complex story to them, also in terms of the reception. And what I found very interesting is in Berlin was also the confrontation with this whole, seeing again this whole public art tradition as they have it in Germany, the Kunst am Bau. The whole idea of bettering the environment with a piece of art, and also with introducing art in the built environment to bring people into contact with it. So this social aspect of public art is very present there, as it is in the Netherlands. And then by comparing the 2 cities, at some point you also started noticing like the differences. I think in Berlin it is the whole Kunst am Bau thing is much more present than in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands we have already left it a little bit towards maybe a bit more experimental or not so much stuck to one building situation. But also the question in Berlin is very different with the monuments. We have monuments in the Netherlands, of course, but in Berlin it's much more. And it's also tied into this very recent history, and of course they have the question of their guilt, which they are dealing with. So those are differences that are visual. Another thing was also that in Berlin you have more kind of spin-off from the art world there, which is quite large. They have big museums like Hamburger Bahnhof and this program DEAAD, where they invite quite important international artists. And for some reason, because these artists often want to do something in public space, you see these projects popping up every now and then by good artists. Can be good projects, sometimes not so much. But that is also much more than in the Netherlands, where it's, public art is still more confined to this group of people who actually do public art.